Hi there, it's Diane from Stamping with Diane in Innisfil, Ontario. We are still in December and I still have my host code operating for this month. So if you are not a demonstrator and you are looking for a demonstrator, I'd be happy to help you. You can place any orders here or go to my link tree for classes. Today's project is using up some Christmas DSP, combining it with some extra non-Christmas stamp sets to create more cards and projects to use up your leftover bits. So for this card, I'm going to create a happy birthday card, and I've decided to use my Stamparatus and the Biggest Wish stamp set. So I've got my piece of Balmy Blue underneath, and I placed my happy across the top. I'm using my 2 magnets here to hold the Balmy Blue in place, and I'm going to ink this up using my Night of Navy. So I'm just tapping that. Now it looks like it might not be quite as dark as I want it to be. Now, some people use a brush when going over this. I found I'm using just a coaster, which works well. Okay, so this is not as dark as I would like this to be. So I'm going to ink again, and that's the beauty of using your Stamparatus, because it's going to go in exactly the same spot that I had the last one. Much better. Now I'm going to use hinge stamping here, so I'm picking up this plate straight up, and I'm going to reposition it 1 down. So now my happy is going to appear slightly lower, but it's going to be exactly in line with the first one. So here I go, press, and I do have the foam mat under here because I'm using a photopolymer stamp, and I still want that a little bit darker. And it's not that my ink is not juicy, it's just I want to get this nice and dark. Okay, I like that, and I'm going to repeat that process 1 more time, inking and moving the hinge down 1. I'm inking it up with my Night of Navy, and it's just going to, I think we'll do it 1 more time again to get it as dark as possible. And press. Okay, now I've got my other plate, and I have placed the birthday so that it's going to be across the bottom. Not quite happy with where that's going to go, so I'll show you how I do this. So I'm going to move my, whoops, that's what you don't want to happen to your magnets, is have them stick together. Just go off screen and undo those. All right, they are undone. The magnets are very strong, so I'm going to slide this up so you can get a better view. And now I'm setting the word birthday right where I want it, just at the bottom of this piece and off to the one side. And now I'm going to use this plate to pick that up so that it's exactly where I want it to be. And we'll repeat and ink up the word birthday. Press. It's likely not quite dark enough yet. No, and I will repeat. And now I've got the nice dark image that I was looking for. And I've got happy, happy birthday. And the nice thing about this is I could now make a bunch of cards now that I've got my Stamparatus set up the way I do. So let's move it off to the side, and I'll show you what I'm going to be using to make the card. So I have a thick white card base, scored and folded, ready to fold, scored at the 4 1/4 mark, and just use my bone folder there. I have cut a piece of Balmy Blue, and I decided to take the piece for my front out of that layer. Then I've got my Night of Navy, and this is paper that came from the Boughs of Holly Christmas set but I love this. Is just kind of wintry and fresh. This one would also work really nicely, but I'm going to just glue all these layers down and I'll show you the rest. Okay, so we've got our layers all on here now, and now I've got our stamped layer for the top, and we're going to pop some dimensionals on here to raise this one up to really let it stand out on this card. So we've got this layered up with our dimensionals, and I'm going to now use some of the In Color matte dots, and these are Starry Sky, which is not the Night of Navy, but that's okay. I wanted to pull out some of, there's so many shades of blue in here, and I'm just going to go one. Here it comes. Need some more putty here on my Take Your Pick tool, just to wind that out a bit. And I've chosen to use some of the different shades here, variegated shades, and there you go. We've got our first card using Christmas DSP in a non-Christmas way. So let me show you a couple of other ideas. Okay, for this second version, we're going to make a thank you card because after Christmas we often need that. So I have a soft succulent, and I've placed the word thanks and friend on my Stamparatus plate. So I'm going to ink that up with the soft succulent, which is the same tone as I have here on the paper. Inking that up, soft succulent, and we've got it nice and lined up there. And press it down. Let's see if we've got a dark enough image. Yeah, I think that actually might work. Maybe I'll try just a wee bit more. I love that with the Stamparatus, as it's going to go exactly where I want it to go. Yes, better. Now I want to over stamp on top with the different font. So this is the handwritten font, and we're still going to see thanks and friend. So I've placed those on top, and I will use my top plate to pick those up, and I'm going to come in with the Evening Evergreen now to layer that one up. So I went over that one a couple of times to get the color difference that I was going for. And now we're going to layer that with, again, this is DSP from the Boughs of Holly. We're going to layer this up and create our card. So this is about ready to put on. We can add dimensionals, but I have an idea. And I'm going to do the tearing technique. So I'm trying to make this a very small tear, and I'm constantly tearing the paper towards me so that I'm getting the rough edge all the way around. And I'm going to continue this all the way around this piece, and then we'll pop it up with dimensionals, and we'll add some embellishments. I really like the look that we've achieved by just tearing that edge, and I just removed a tiny bit. And now I think to finish this one off, I'm going to just wrap some of this twine that has the silver in it. So I've just wrapped it three times, back and forth. Now I'm not twisting it because I want it to lay quite flat. And we're just going to tuck it in underneath like so. So by putting some adhesive underneath, we'll go ahead and do that. So I just need it down on this corner. I'm going to put quite a bit of adhesive there. And I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so that I can lay this down without worrying about it sticking to my card until I'm ready for it to stick. So I've just wound that and press my card front onto there, so I've got it a little bit peeking out. So I've got lots of thickness down in this bottom corner, so we'll pop up the other parts of this label so that with the dimensionals we're bringing it up to the same height as with the rope, with the twine. And I'll remove our backings and we'll add it to our card front. So I've popped this up with the dimensionals, added some of our classic matte dots onto the front, and here are the samples of what we can do with Christmas DSP and the Biggest Wish stamp set. Of course, you don't have to use that stamp set. You could use anything else that you have or for any occasions that are coming up. So again, thanks for joining in. I hope these tips have helped you out. Have a great day.